المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, today we will pick up where we left off, which is verse 13 of Surah Al-An'am. And inshallah, we'll read the verse. We'll probably maybe do 13 and 14, and then we'll delve into the commentary. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وله ما سكن في الليل والنهار وهو السميع العليم قل أغير الله أتخذ وليا فاطر السماوات والأرض وهو يطعم ولا يطعم قل إني أمرت أن أكون أول من أسلم ولا تكونن من المشركين. And so these verses, and just to recall, this surah, it's Surah Al-An'am. It's named Al-An'am because it alludes to what is discussed later, some of the paganistic practices of the Quraysh, and how they found certain strange things to be sacred. And so a lot of this surah has to do with the Prophet ﷺ having a dialogue with the Qurayshis and basically preaching Allah's oneness, Tawheed, and how Allah is the true God and everything else is just idols that you are worshipping. So a lot of the surah talks about that idea and that theme. So this first verse, وَلَهُ مَا سَكَنَ فِي اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And what this translates to is everything that rests in the night or by day belongs to Allah. He is the all-hearing and the all-knowing. This is an interesting verse because we don't really come across this verse all too often, or this type of verse. We have a similar verse that's often echoed, وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, that everything in the heavens and the earth belongs to Him. But Allah is singling out a very specific and very natural, normal act that all creatures of the world do. And that is sakana, that is taking a rest, sleeping. All of us came, mashallah, here to Fajr, but before this we were asleep. And so everything that rests by night or by day, all of that creation, it belongs to Allah. And so Allah is very much even saying that this idea of night and day, that people or creatures rest in one or the other, or sometimes both, all of that is ultimately to Allah. In other places, Allah says, أَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا جَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِيَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ. That have they not considered, or have they not saw that Allah, that we are the ones who created the night for people to take a rest in. And so this ayah, it's hearkening back to that idea that your very ability to find repose, to find comfort, to just sleep, that also comes from Allah. That to Him belongs everything that sleeps, and وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ, that He is the all-hearing and the all-knowing. And so then we follow this with a rhetorical question that the Prophet is commanded to ask. قُلْ أَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ أَتَّخِذُ وَلِيًّا. That shall I take for myself a wali other than Allah. This word wali, it's often mentioned in the Quran. A lot of times people translate it as friend, but wali has a deeper meaning than that. Those who have gotten married or are in the business of marriage or are well versed in that, they understand that like the woman, the lady has a wali who's often her father. It also has the idea of being one who protects, the protector of someone. And in another verse that we read earlier in Surah Baqarah, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu, that Allah is the protector, the protecting friend almost, because it does have that element of a friendship. And so what he's saying is, should I take another friend who would protect me, another protecting friend, another one who would have my back and who would look out for my best interest other than Allah? And then what does he do? He describes Allah, فَاطِرِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. He is the creator of the heavens and the earth. And وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ وَلَا يُطْعَمُ. In calling Allah فَاطِرِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, he's couching the Prophet ﷺ when he's asking this question to the mushrikun at that time. I think that the mushrikun, that they, at their core, they understood that there was an Allah, that there was one supreme being, but their idols were ways for them to access that Allah, that they would instead pray to those idols, and then they would hope that maybe their idols would somehow communicate or protect them through some sort of strange methods that they could ask of the true Allah. They had this strange, warped sense of religion and lifestyle. But they believed in that celestial one Allah. But they just believed that He had partners. That's what shirk is. Shirk is associating partners with Allah. And they had that warped idea. So the Prophet's asking this question, that if I have a protector, if I have a friend in this way, should it not be the one who is the Fatir as-samawati wal-ard, who is the creator, the one who brought into existence the samawat and the ard, the heavens and the earth. وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ وَلَا يُطْعَمُ. And He is the one who gives food, and He is not the one who needs to be fed. And this is also a very interesting detail that the Prophet is ascribing to Allah, that He is beyond any sort of need, that the pagans of that time, they would offer up their gold, they would offer up these sorts of material wealth to their idols. That the Abu Sufyan, when he would be begging to his gods to destroy the Prophet, that he would literally put gold in front of those idols. What this phrase is saying, وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ وَلَا يُطْعَمُ, that even the most basic thing, that is eating, that all creatures of the world partake in, that Allah is exempt from that. That وَلَا يُطْعَمُ, that He does not need to be fed, but also وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ, that He is the source of your ta'am, that He is the one who ultimately feeds. He is the one who is ultimately nourishing. He's the one who drives the clouds that causes rain to come. He's the one that through that rain causes crops and harvests to sprout forth from the earth. That this is Allah. That why should I try, or why should I want anyone other than Him to be my protector, to be the one whom I worship? And so then the Prophet ﷺ is told to say, قُلْ إِنِّي أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أَكُونَ أَوَّلَ مَنْ أَسْلَمَ. That he's told to say that I have thusly been commanded to be the first to be Muslim, to be those who submit to Him. وَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And then the Prophet is told, do not be amongst those, the idolaters. But this idea of being first, أَوَّلَ مَنْ أَسْلَمَ, that this is a mindset, and this is a qawl that he's saying to the people. And what is it about being awwal? What is it about being the first? We have in our world, in our society, this hyper-competitive nature. this hyper-competitive ethos that we live in, that we need to be the first at this. If there's a certain stock that is profitable for us to invest in, that we be the first to buy that stock so that we can get it when it's at a low price and then sell it when it's at a high price. That this idea of being first and foremost, that the Prophet is evoking this idea. And what it's meant to stir in the Qurayshis' hearts and also our hearts as we're reading this is this desire to be first amongst the Muslims, that we rush to Islam, that we rush to literal submission to Allah. That is something that we don't want to be amongst the akhirin, the ones who are in the rear, the ones who were further away from this and who were not from the awwaleen. That the Quran prizes and the Quran prides over those people who are was-sabiqun as-sabiqun, those who rush to Islam and to rush to submission. And that those are people who are أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ فِي جَنَّاتِ النَّعِيمِ, that they are people who will be brought closer to Allah in gardens of pleasure, in Jannah, in that abode of paradise. And so ultimately what we're seeking as we're reading these verses is remembering that even our normal functions, be it eating, be it sleeping, that all of those ultimately originate from the one who created entire existence as we know it. And why should we not go and rush to be amongst that entities, that one Allah's servants, and be amongst the foremost and the first people who will be willing to adopt that religion of Allah. And we ask Allah for success in these matters as we strive to be people who are truly devout to Him and always and try not to take a backseat or procrastinate and neglect Allah as the mushrikun ultimately did. And we all are aware of their fate, that the mushrikun will end in hellfire, and we ask Allah to protect us from the hellfire and to have His mercy upon us all. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.